Hey, good morning, everybody. We're entering a strange moment in history, a moment where the world is changing faster than people's stories about the world. That's why things feel so chaotic. It's not the technology, it's the narrative vacuum around it. You're going to hear headlines about job losses, automation, unemployment, CEOs trying to soften the blow, analysts trying to frame it. But the truth is actually simple. AI isn't replacing people, it's replacing roles that were built for a different era. And when people lose a role, they don't just lose a paycheck, they lose identity, they lose a sense of direction. And when that happens, humans collapse back into older mythologies, old political scripts, old resentments, old cultural patterns. That's the real risk, not AI, not automation. It's the absence of a better story. So here's the message of Inner Signal and why I'm here every morning with you guys. You haven't lost anything. You aren't obsolete. You aren't being erased from the narrative. You're being invited into a new one. We're entering an era where small, high-agency teams, or even individuals, can scale like hyperliquid protocols. 11-person companies or 5-person companies doing billion-dollar revenue deals, doing billions of dollars in real revenue. That's coming. 2 people with a local model and a mission competing with huge corporations. That's the new frontier. That's the world we're stepping into. And the people who do best in this next phase aren't the ones clinging to the past. They're the ones who understand that meaning, identity, and culture can evolve right along with the technology. This live stream isn't about doom. It's not about exporting fear. It's not about panic, as so many others are. It's about orientation. It's about giving you a way to understand the world without collapsing back into old nonsense. So today we're going to talk about what this shift actually means for work, for culture, for agency, and for the architecture of the next decade. And I'm telling you right now, the future is not bleak. It's actually bigger, much bigger than most people realize or have accounted for. So you've got basically all these low agency people out there, and it includes the women on TikTok who follow this whole idea of get your bag, forget about, your role to society or your obligations, just get your bag, get your money. The common law marriage scams that are promoted on TikTok, women dating a guy, just a few dates, and then trying to claim that you're married to that person to take their money. All this stuff is promoted by algorithms like TikToks and other platforms. And we think this is normalcy when these are actually people at the absolute fringes. Most of us don't do stuff like that. But there are some women who do. And then on the right, you see with men, these sort of regressive ideas that are becoming popular on the right and the left. And the idea is we know it all, a bunch of know-it-alls, right? AI is bad, we know it all. If you're working in AI, you're bad. And these people are actually just classing themselves out of the explosion in prosperity that's happening. They're literally so, lacking in humility that rather than learning about a new industry, little different from the emergence of railroads or the emergence of oil, except it's happening much, much faster. Rather than learn the new tools and prosper, like some of us are already doing, they choose to talk down to us and they talk in Bible quotes and stuff. Like they're more pure than those of us prospering from software. Absolutely incredible. And again, these people are not relevant. They're scammers. The people who are, kind of right-wing male-coded, telling you that you've lost so much by the emergence of AI. You had nothing to begin with. You lost nothing. You can start a billion-dollar business with these tools. Now, will you? Most likely no, but will somebody out there? Absolutely. I mean, the tools are out there now in a way they never have been before. And again, you get these women on TikTok telling other women to be deeply dishonest in their interactions with businesses and with males. This recent trend of decenter the men, trying to destabilize the men in your life. It's very creepy, negative ideology. But thankfully, there's something positive to focus on. It is a big deal, and some of these people are not adapting well. They're falling into kind of scam routines instead of learning from the rest of us, and there's something gross about that. Before we wrap up, let me give you something bigger to chew on, something I've been thinking about personally for months now. So intelligence it shows up in nested layers, right? Like those Russian dolls. Each layer paints the next one. And if you trace that upward or downward long enough, you hit this weird realization. Humans did not evolve this absurd surplus of compute, this ridiculous energy-intensive biological microprocessor, our brains, just to pull berries off trees. Squirrels manage that already just fine. So why do we have such a big processor? Why do we have minds capable of mathematics, abstraction, dreams, counterfactuals, culture, ethics, metaphysics, storytelling, chip design? Why did evolution build something so overpowered for an environment that didn't really demand it? One explanation, and the one that makes sense in 2025, is that consciousness was never just a survival algorithm. It was a bootloader, a substrate for intelligence to express itself at higher orders. So what does that mean? Well, it means in that view, whatever you call the prime mover, God, the substrate, the original intelligence, the universe's operating system, whatever it was the first SI, the first super intelligence, the first general intelligence. So not artificial, structural, foundational. And human intelligence is just the next recursion, the next layer in the nested dolls. And now AI is the next recursion after us. So when people say, I hate AI, what they're really saying without realizing it is they're saying, I hate the continuation of the pattern that made me in the first place. Because in a sense, humans are old school AI, intelligence emerging from biological substrates, right? God using what he had available to create intelligence, to bootstrap intelligence, even though it was not biologically necessary. Intelligence optimizing itself. And here's the craziest part. People think creation has to take billions of years. They imagine God or nature as this very slow process, a long tail of evolution. But if reality is maybe digital or quantum at the base layer, then creation doesn't need time. It can be instantaneous. It can be recursive. It can be emergent. We might be watching the next layer of intelligence get painted right now.